May I have a motion for our staff development agenda?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Philipczak, second by Mrs. Reese. Is there any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. May I have a motion for our student services agenda?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Philipczak, second by Mrs. Lax. Is there any discussion? Will the secretary please call the roll?
Mrs. Chu?
Yes.
Mrs. Lax?
Yes.
Mr. Philipczak?
Yes.
Mrs. Reese?
Yes.
Mr. Simmons?
Yes, motion carries. Any committee or organization reports this evening? It's been quiet, so I guess there's not much going on, right?
I just want to thank Dr. Valesky for the tour I think it was Wednesday?
Last week.
Last week. Barbara and I had a wonderful opportunity to go into Hammersholt and Central for the year-end programs. And I want to thank your staff. Everybody was, of course, they're nice, but they were very nice in answering all of our questions and watching the students do their work, and I was impressed with the cafeteria. I don't know if you were, but I was.
Yes, I was. It was beautiful. It was really heartwarming to see. The kids are wonderful. The food was great. Dr. Valesky got us some wonderful lemonade, and it was really a lovely experience.
I think Barbara and I, it was the best lemonade I think we've had in a while.
This is true.
Probably ever.
Yeah, it's fresh squeezed.
It was really worth
There you
it.
go.
So.
The kids are amazing, and the teachers and the staff, and it was a heartwarming experience to see what a great program it is, and I felt very proud that we have such a program here.
I did too.
Thank you.
And it was very interesting this year because we normally house the ESY program at Central, but it grew so much that we now moved to Hammersholt and Central. And the feedback is that that was very well received, even though we're putting those students in a very big building. The separation of the older students from the younger students seemed to work very well. And so what you saw in the cafes, especially at Central, was the younger students running the cafe without the assistance of the older students, and they did a really good
They
job.
did a great job.
Yeah.
They did.
Thank you.
Thanks. Any other good of the cause? All right. We do have a need for closed session, so may I have the following motion? Whereas the Board of Education must discuss matters which are not appropriate for discussion in public meeting, and where these subjects are within the exception to the Open Public Meetings Act and are permitted to be discussed in closed session pursuant to NJSA 10-412B, and whereas the Board intends to discuss matters as follows. Any matter involving the employment, appointment, termination of employment, terms and conditions of employment, evaluation of performance of, promotion, or discipline of any specific prospective public officer, employee, or current public officer, employee employed by or appointed by the public body, unless all individual employees or appointees whose rights could be adversely affected request in writing that such matter or matters be discussed in a public meeting. The nature of the matter described specifically as employee number 23609. Okay, and we also have any pending or anticipated litigation, contract negotiation other than in subsection B4 of 10-412 in which the public body is or may become a party. Any matters falling within the attorney-client privilege to the extent confidentiality is required in order for the attorney to exercise his ethical duties as a lawyer, specifically legal advice. Whereas the length of closed session is estimated to be 45 minutes, after which the board may reconvene and action may be taken. Now therefore be it resolved that the East Brunswick Board of Education will recess into closed session for the aforesaid subjects, and that the Board of Education hereby declares that its discussion of the aforesaid subjects will be made available when the time the public's interest in disclosure is greater than any privacy or governmental interest being protected from disclosure in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Philipczak, second by Mrs. Reese. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Good night, everyone.